Hello, my crafty friends. I've got a couple of little projects that I'm going to share with you today. Well, a project and a do-it-yourself spray. Last night on my live stream, Janet said, "You know those folk art dyes you got? Why don't you make sprays out of them?" And this is what she was talking about: the Ultra dye from Folk Art. I have turquoise, solar power, and infrared. And um, so we made some sprays last night. I made these three, and then today I went ahead and made a purple. It's really more blue than it is purple. I'm gonna have to add some more red, but I have to use more of it first before I can do that. But I wanted to show you um, some of the things that we did with it last night. We just sprayed it on some watercolor paper, and it's the pretty vibrant colors, and we mixed it with alcohol. So we've got the dye and alcohol in these little sprayers. And so because of the alcohol, it pretty much sets immediately. We did it through a stencil like this. And what I want to show you doesn't show up quite as good on this as it does on the thing that I did with it today. So I've got that I want to show you. Um, this is a drawing that my daughter did to break my book so I wouldn't be afraid to work in it. She first did this opening page here. This book belongs to Lisa Conway. And then she drew this, but she didn't really like it. I think it's pretty, but she didn't really like it. And she told me do something on that page because I just don't like it. So I decided to put those sprays on here. And what I'm wanting you to see is how um, individually the dots, they don't mix like watercolor or something. They just all stay in. It's very pixelated looking. I don't know if you can tell very good, but I really like that look. It's not. I don't have any other sprays that do that give me that kind of a look, and that was really fun to do that. So I thought I would share that with you. Little bottle, the Folk Art Ultra Dye, and I used 91% alcohol. Anyway, so there's your DIY spray inks, and so far they have done really well. Usually I can make about 2 sprays and then something I make clogs up, but these have not done that. So I'm really happy with them so far, except they do stain your hands. I did really good, and I had gloves on and everything, but I had plastic underneath where I was spraying, and I took my gloves off, and I decided I'm going to see if a baby wipe will clean that off that plastic. And so I got the baby wipe out and started rubbing it, and it sure enough, it came right off that plastic, and it just went right through onto my hands. So if you want to look like this, don't wear gloves. Actually, that looks pretty good compared to how it looked an hour ago. Let me put these up real quick, and then I'll show you the other project that we're going to work on today. And I've been thinking about making these for quite a while, but I haven't done it until today. But these are what I'm calling my secret journals or spy journals. We're going to make little baby journals that fit inside these Trident packages. And I just think my kids would have loved to have had a spy journal in a Trident package when they were, or any kind of, something that doesn't look like it's a journal that they could play with. And there are 2 different ways to do them. One is just to use it, just take the gum out and just use it like this. That way you can take them out, to write. And I'm going to go ahead and bind them in a minute. But and I use those same inks on these papers. And the other way to do it, let me stick that back in there. That one's kind of messed up. I'll keep it for myself. But anyway, just so I don't get confused and put it in here accidentally. The other way is to go ahead and open it up and then cut off these little wings. This won't look quite as much like a, you know, like a Trident package that hasn't been messed with. But this way you're making it into an actual little journal. And then we'll take a couple of these and we're just going to bind them right to this, in this little spot here on the back. It's double wide, and in here it's got this in between, so we're just going to bind them right in there. And then you'll have a little journal. But this one, you know, it'll look like a journal on the ends. So you could do this just to make a cute little journal, and then you could decorate, paint or whatever the box so that it, you know, just looks like a journal. And then you can open it up and you can flatten them out to work in it like a book. So so we're going to do that today. And this was my first idea, because when I asked my son if I could have the box, he said, "Oh, Mom, it's messed up. These things have come open. You know, it's supposed to be all tied down." And my first thought was, well, it'll work perfect for a journal, you know. Let me get this gluey stuff out. So I think that'll be fun. And I'm just going to bind them with a pamphlet stitch, nothing fancy. I did do some of the signatures, just plain paper. This one I'm making for my great niece, and she loves to draw, but she likes to draw a little bitty. And so I thought this would be a perfect journal for her. And so I'm going to do one that's plain, and then I'm going to go ahead and put one of these that's got the colored, you know, colored pages in it. But I thought it would be fun to do one also out of some jelly print papers. So I made some jelly prints real quick that I thought we could put in here. This way I can show you how I cut the pages. Of course, most of you can figure out how to cut pages, so you probably don't need this part, but we're going to do it anyway. I just cut one, and then we put it on, and I'm doing it this way because I can almost fit two. Part of this will not be jelly printed, but I can fit two on here in these little, this is just some stationery. It's nothing special, but I had it, and so if I can get it to lay in the corner, I'm going to go ahead and do well, it would help. Okay, let's do it this way. That'll make it easier. When I did them before, they were plain pages, and I didn't have to try to get it to work with what I had printed. I mean, what I had printed on here. So we've got some leftover pieces up there. And then I'm just going to put it And these, I put 6 pieces of paper in each of the signatures. You could do more than that if you want to. But I thought if, you know, if whatever child you're giving these to wants to put stickers in them or something, then it would be better to have a little space. Also, they'll fit into the books, especially the ones that you're putting in a pocket like this. It'll fit in there a lot easier if it's not too fat. Okay. I think this one came out of here. So I've got 2 signatures. I'm gonna use these in this one. And I'm just gonna take them and fold them, just, you know, like you do. I do the same thing with these. I'm folding half of them with this side up and half of them with that side up, so that it'll be kind of opposite. You know, each signature will be a little bit different, even though they're made out of the same paper. Alrighty, then we'll just put them together. I don't want the 2 pink ones right together. Okay, there's one. And there's the second one. And these 2 I'm going to actually bind into here. So I'm going to need to make holes and everything to fit this. The ones that I'm binding just to slide in here, it'll be a lot easier process. Oh dear. Just dropped my journal on the floor. I made a little, what do you call that? A template for the holes. And I'm gonna stick that template right here in the center. I need to write on there what's the top and what's the bottom, because they're not exactly the same. Okay. And then we're going to take that and stick it in our phone book. If you haven't done this before, believe me, it makes it so much easier. And take our pokey tool and just poke a hole. And then we've got holes in there. So we're going to set that aside. Let me get a binder clip real quick. Hold that together. Okay. All right. We're going to do the same thing with this one. Use the same. going to use the binder clip on that one. Let me make sure yeah, okay. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. Just lay it against the spine, you know, is really really small right there. And then the same thing on this side. So you're going to have to just do it right in as close to in the middle as you can. So I'm just laying this down. Let's go back here again. And we'll poke our hole. And then we'll come over here and we'll do the same thing again. Okay, we've got the holes ready for both signatures. Now I need to get a needle and some thread. There are lots of things you could bind these with. Oh, there's my other pokey tool. I couldn't find that, so I got this one out. But it was right here where it's supposed to be. I usually bind mine with my books with this. It's linen carpet thread. York Street threads, made in Belfast, Ireland. And I have no idea when. It was in my grandma's sewing box. And I don't know. But it's that's what I usually use, and that's what I'm going to use today. But you could use some pretty ribbon. I think for this one, for Disney, I'll probably use ribbon to bind it. And you could use, what do you call this, embroidery floss? You could use anything, but I'm going to use this one for this book because this one's going to be mine. I'm not sure if this needle has a big enough eye to get this through, but I don't want to use a very big needle because I don't want to have to make my holes any bigger than they already are. Okay, gonna have to use one a little bit bigger than that. Okay, we'll use this one because I know it'll go through that one all right. Okay. And we're going to start in the middle. So I just put the needle through there and through the middle hole here. This is the easiest way to bind something. It just takes a minute. Well, okay. You kind of have to look. And bring that through. Leave a little bit of a tail. And then you're going to go down here to the bottom hole. And back out that one. Then you'll come back in through the center hole. And you want to be on the other side of this. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit better. I wasn't thinking about that. You want to be on the other side of this string in here. That way when you pull it tight, let me go ahead and take the, got too much thread. You can pull it tight and tie a knot. And with this wax thread, one knot's really all you need. It stays really well. Cut the little tags. I'm not going to leave these very long. Sometimes I do it on the back side and I leave them long so I can put beads on them. But we don't need to do that with this one because we're wanting to, you know, we don't want the binding to really show up too much. Let's get another piece of this. Okay. Went through just fine the first time. Okay. Now we're going to put the second one in here. Have to remember where's the top. Go out through the center hole. Be sure to leave enough thread to tie back in. And I've seen people do this without even punching any holes. They just go through it all as they're doing it. But I figure that little step saves me a little bit of headache. Go back in. Oops. Back in here. This is something you could do and write scavenger hunt clues in it, or I don't know, there's all kinds of things. They could write the answers to the riddles that they find in a scavenger hunt in here, you know, a way to record that. Or it could just be a fun little journal. So we just fold that over there to kind of protect the edges. Actually, let's just fold it over one because that's what it originally was. And tuck it in. And quick as that, we've got a little journal. I think it's really cute. Alrighty, there's that one. And then for this one, you know, you really don't have to do anything to it except make two little booklets to go inside. So this one's really even easier than the other one because you don't have to try to fit it to the back of the little book. So there are a couple of advantages to this one. The first advantage is that you don't have to worry about fitting it into the book, and the second one is that they can take it out to do their writing or drawing or whatever they're doing in it. So we'll do this one with some ribbon. And for this one, I'm going to go from the outside so we can leave the deals on the outside because it's kind of pretty. Then you can just tie it in a knot and maybe a little bow, so it'd be cute. There's one. And then, oh, here it is. So I know I had another one. We'll tie this one with the, let's do this lavender. That'll be pretty. If you wanted to, I think these would be fun little glue books too, but they would, you know, be, you could carry them in your purse or your pocket or whatever, and might be a good little sketchbook that you could take with you on a trip because it doesn't take up much space. Well, I got this almost too short. There we go. There's another one. We'll just stick it right in here. And there's your secret spy book, or your secret diary or journal, or it could be anything. So there's you a fun project. Takes you not very long. But probably deciding what papers to put in it's what'll take the longest. Anyway, I hope you enjoy that. I hope if you've got some kids or some grandkids that might enjoy that little book, I'll give you an idea of something fun to do for them or with them. Make cute party favors if you were having a birthday party or something. It won't rot their teeth. Of course, try to, you know, it's sugar-free, but anyway. Alrighty. Bless you. Bye-bye.